DJ and PK on TV. Here's on the radio on 97.5 and 1280 The Zone. And this week, we're going to do something totally different. Usually, I'm the one who has the numbers, the stats, the figures, the research. He's got all the opinions. He's loud. He's bombastic. He's funny. He's crazy. He's obnoxious. This week, look at you. You got a notebook. You have been cramming for the SATs, aren't you?
Well, yes, I have, David. I'm very analytical this afternoon and here this evening here, and I'm going to go strictly by the numbers. No passion, no outrageousness. This is really me at my core.
This will be either the best or worst segment we've ever done. What started this is the Pac-12 Media Days, and the way it works, it's Media Day now, not days.
One day.
And so you've got 12 coaches, 24 players. You get access to them all, but only for a few minutes, and they come through, and you get to ask a couple questions, and it's live radio. We carry it on all day on 97.5 and 1280 The Zone. And so you got your homework, because it'll all run together after a while. Which team has which returning, what storyline. You got a bunch of stuff. So I think some of what you'll learn, but some of what you've already learned doing the homework, really kind of sets up the storylines as Utah tries to compete with these teams, win a Pac-12 championship, as you like to say, and go to the Rose Bowl for the first time ever. So as you went through and did the homework, who jumped out at you right away? A storyline maybe we didn't know about a team that we care a lot about.
Yeah, I mean, I went through and I got notes on every one of these teams here, and I spent probably 10 hours. I would say at least maybe 45 minutes per team. And the thing that it looks at me is the North is right now on paper, the North is going to be very, very competitive. To me, my dark horse candidate, and it's crazy to say because they won 11 games last year, is Washington State, because everybody's going to be talking about Oregon and Washington. No problem there. But I'm going to think I might go with Washington State. I don't think they'll get any, maybe they'll get a few votes for first place, but I think a lot of places a lot of polls will have them as low as fourth. But I think that with Mike Leach, with his offense and how crazy they are and the success he's had repeatedly, it doesn't even matter who's the quarterback, and the fact that their defense the last 3 years has gotten progressively better in scoring defense, which is what it's about. It's about not allowing points, right? That's what can determine winning and losing. So I'm going to go Washington State. And then as you look at the South, it is clear, abundantly clear, there's only one team to go with, and that's our guys, the Utes.
Well, I think when we see this Media Day poll, the Utes are going to be runaway number one. And we've thought that really since we started looking at this season when the last one ended.
Sure.
Washington and Oregon, I think, are going to be picked 1, 2. I'm not sure the order. I think Oregon won, but we'll see. Stanford, I think, is third, and I think you're right about Wazoo being picked fourth. What has Oregon got when you look at it that would make them deserve the top spot in the North?
Well, I think obviously they got Herbert, the quarterback, and he's viewed as the #1 prospect NFL-wise. That doesn't necessarily translate immediately to college success because they didn't have a lot of success last year. And I think what they also have is an offensive line that is going to set them apart. They got a kid, Sewell, down there from St. George, and they return all 5. And 4 of the 5 are seniors who've been starting their whole time. Sewell is a sophomore, and Sewell right now is the best pro prospect of anybody on that offensive line. He literally might be the best pro prospect of anybody in the Pac-12. He's that good. And so we know they always have speed. They got a kid named Verdell at running back who played a little bit last year as a freshman. So they should be able to run the ball, combined with Herbert as a senior quarterback coming back and bypassing the NFL draft. Defensively, they got some issues. They got some issues up front. The linebacking core should be good. So Oregon is a solid choice. I've got no problem if people want to go with Oregon.
And the fact that Sewell got hurt and they became a 500 team, including a horrific loss to Arizona. Once he was hurt.
Correct.
So they get him back. They could be better. Washington, Chris Peterson's got the rep. And now he's got the record at Washington, not just at Boise State. He's won a couple conference titles. And so they're going to be picked right there with Oregon. It'll be close for 1, 2. But they're losing a lot of guys. Is it really Peterson's rep? Yeah, here we go. Straight to the notes. He literally has notes, people, believe it or not. Is it just...
Keep talking. Fill time here.
Is it the rep?
Okay,
or
be
have
quiet
they got
now.
something? Because their defense was awesome, but they lost guys.
I'm honest. They not only lost guys, they lost 9 guys. I mean, they got 2 starters returning on defense. Now, they got a couple of guys who were injured last year who played. A linebacker who played early, they got hurt. A linebacker who was hurt early and then played late, started in the Pac-12 title game and then started in the Rose Bowl. So they do have a little bit more than what it looks like on paper. But offensively, obviously, they're replacing a 4-year starter in Jake Browning in quarterback, although they think that Georgia transfer Eason is going to be better. If he's better than what Browning has been, then they're going to be a contender. They also lose lose their starting running back Gaskins here. But they got a kid last year who, when he came in, did okay. So I think they'll be all right. And then receivers, they return just about everybody. And they've had some great receivers. Defensively, what Chris Peterson has done has put player after player at the linebacker position and in the defensive backfield into the NFL. Even though they're losing a ton of guys defensively, I still think they're recruiting guys that they have that are waiting in the wings will be good. In my mind, not good enough to win the division, though. And I know that a lot of people are thinking that they're going to be the pick based on what Chris Peterson has done. And what he's done has been absolutely outstanding.
Okay, so a couple things on what you just said. I think you have to underline the fact that the production of quarterback, even though they had a fourth-year senior who had won, the production really wasn't very good.
Not last year,
the numbers weren't very good. No. The games they won, the games they lost, 21-7 over Utah. It was not an impressive offensive showing. 10-3 in the conference title game was not. 21-16 Auburn. The offense hurt them in a lot of big games. Sometimes they escaped, sometimes they didn't. So I can see the upgrade at quarterback, but Myles Gaskin, that's a huge loss. He was a very good running back.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a 4-year starter, and he was a 1,000-yard guy. You can book it, right? He was very, very good.
The best of the decade belongs to Stanford. This being 2019.
Stanford, hold on.
This is the 9th year of the Pac-12. Stanford has won 3 of the 8 conference championships, and they are the school that has avoided bottoming out. Oregon and Washington had some good times. They've also had some very bad times. Stanford's been consistently good. Can they do it?
Well, yeah, the thing that I like most about Stanford, their kicker is named Jet Toner. Now, I just love that name. Man, how many times are you going to have a kicker with that cool of a name, right?
Yeah,
and he wasn't bad.
No, Jet Toner.
14 out of 15 field goals. The problem is they didn't have enough attempts. Need some more attempts. Now, offensively, they've undergone kind of a metamorphosis because we've been known, they've been a pro-style offense who's been pounding the ball. They've had 1,000-yard rushers every year. Well, last year, Bryce Love got hurt, and they really struggled offensively. They installed KJ Costello as the quarterback for sure, undisputed, about midway through. And they went on a little bit of a run after having lost 4 or 5. You and I talking about it on the radio, you thought a large portion of that, the schedule got easier. And certainly it did compared to the middle of the season when Utah went up there and just really drilled them. So if they can move the ball through the air and maybe find a little bit of a running game that's secondary to the pass game, I still think that they can be competitive and be in the mix. I'm not picking them to win, but I'm picking them to be a good team again.
All right, so there's 5 teams that should be good, 4 in the North, 1 in the South.
Yeah.
Of the other 7, is it SC, the team most likely to be good?
Let me go to the book.
Cal had a great defense and a terrible offense.
They did.
If they get the offense going, could they be one of the teams, although they're in the North, which is, a brutal schedule for them? UCLA. Chip Kelly still at least a year away.
Not yet. I think they were so far down that you got to give Kelly time. We'll see if he can do it, but you've got to give him time. So I don't know that I would put them. For me right now, there's 2 teams that I would pick, and it's hard for me to pick SC as a sleeper since they've been so very, very good. But they return a fair amount of talent. Their receivers collectively, they got 3 guys receivers that any one of the 3, led by a kid named Pittman, could be the #1 receiver on just about any team in the conference. So if JT Daniels, who was a freshman last year, he struggled. If he can improve, which we expect he will, and do what he's expected to do, I think they will be a tough out. And we know that's Utah's first conference game on September 20th on a Friday night down there in the Coliseum where they've never won. Utah wins that game, and they are absolutely in the driver's seat in the South. And maybe in the conference. We'll see how it plays out because it would still be very early. But right now I'm going USC, and if ASU could strike gold with one of their quarterbacks, they got 4 guys trying to replace a 3-year starter, because I think defensively they'll be okay, and they return arguably the best running back in the conference in Eno Benjamin, plus they're returning all of their offensive linemen. I don't think the time is now for them, but they have an opportunity to win some games.
All right, PK is going to take all of this knowledge, some questions he has, and he'll be hitting up Pac-12 coaches and players at the Pac-12 Media Day on Wednesday in Los Angeles. You can listen at 97.5 and 1280 The Zone. Well, more college football as the countdown continues. We're doing a 100-day countdown to the 100th BYU-Utah game, and so we're now 39 days away.
That's awesome.
Yep, we'll continue with that on the radio as well. We'll see you tomorrow morning on 97.5 and 1280 The Zone.